Let's get back to the business at hand and get over to the phones because on the line, waiting to share some valuable information with us is our good friend, Dennis Horton. He's the director of the Rockford Regional Office of the Better Business Bureau. Dennis, good morning.
Good morning, Riley.
How's everything going this morning?
Pretty good so far. I have a voice.
That's all right. You've probably been going out singing because you're so delighted at the change in temperature.
You know, I didn't realize yesterday that it was so nice because I've been stuck here with this laptop working on a project. So
okay.
I'm going to try today.
See, Dennis's loss of the weather is your gain because whatever it is he's working on, I'm pretty certain that it's something that would affect your pocketbook and keeping you safe from scammers and other things. Let's get to the laundry list of topics this morning. The BBB gift card payment scam study.
Well, you know, Riley, for many years, scammers relied on individuals going to Western Union or to send payment to them by MoneyGram. But now that gift cards have become a multi-billion-dollar industry, that's their new payment of choice. And they have begun using gift card payments and ripping off people to the tune of, billions of dollars. And we have an international investigator, Steve Baker, former Midwest regional director for the Federal Trade Commission, who studies all of the scam and criminal activity for our BBB and for others. And he noted the drastic increase in the amount of money being lost and the number of incidents where individuals are falling victim to the gift card payment scam.
Which, you know, once again, as you have pointed out, the minute someone mentions gift card as a form of payment, one should worry.
Absolutely. If you're asked to make a payment via gift card for whatever reason, you most certainly are dealing with a scammer.
Because nobody legitimately, I've never encountered anybody in my life when we were discussing remuneration for something where they went, you know, I normally would like cash or your credit card, but, you know, an Apple gift card would be best.
Right. And however, that's what the scammers actually do. When questioned about why would you want me to pay with a gift card, they come up with a plausible excuse, something like, the government has entered into a program with these gift cards, and they have a new transaction system to use gift cards. And to someone who is already on the hook and sort of following this stream, that's a plausible enough excuse to go ahead and get that gift card.
Yeah, I never really thought about that, but if somebody, you know, gives you a line like that, well, yeah, it hasn't always been that way, but it's a new program and, you know, you've got a new administration. You can go with any number of things to try to muddy the waters on this one, can't you? Exactly.
And the scammers have been using the gift cards, especially when they mount their crime, when they send send that email that from a hacked email account, as happened here in Rockford with a local nonprofit agency. The fund development director received an email from a scammer, purportedly from her boss, the executive director, instructing her to go out and get gift cards for the staff because they had been working so diligently and so hard over the due to COVID, and she wanted to reward them because the email was worded in much the same way that the executive director talks and has, you know, cares about the staff. The development director did just that and went out and got the gift cards, and at one point stopped and thought, well, you know, before I call these people back and give them these numbers, I'm just going to make sure I've done this right. And she contacted her boss, who said, I didn't do that.
Yeah.
But she was fortunate enough. She got the $1,000, which she had put on her personal card. She went back to the Walgreens here, and she went to a couple to get the cards. And they fortunately refunded her money. She was lucky. That's not always the case.
Yeah, I've read about that particular scam being played out in a whole bunch of different areas, whether it's, hey, you got a note purportedly from the CEO of your organization. We're going to need gift cards. We're going to need cash. We're going to need this. We're going to need that. And get it out and distributed. And then you mentioned, I took care of what you asked. And as you mentioned, the boss is like, I don't know what you're talking about.
Right. It even happened with us here at the BBB. Our boss's email was hacked and instructed to send gift cards to New York to another BBB as a surprise for their staff. So it's what we always talk about, Riley. When you see something out of the unusual, even though it's an email from someone you purportedly know, sometimes if it's something unusual, you need to question. Think before you act.
Yeah, and it won't get you in trouble. In a lot of cases, it'll save your job and your organization a whole bunch of money.
That's right, and it's the urgency that the scammers always place on the action they're asking you to do. This must be done immediately because we want to make the staff happy, and they've worked so hard and they deserve this. And you don't want to be the person who stands in the way of completing this assignment or not making the staff happy. In this case, she was very lucky in that she was able to recoup the money. But that's not often the case with using gift cards. In fact, that is one of the reasons why scammers are using gift cards, because they are difficult to track. They're not like a credit card or a debit card. That you don't have the same protections. So when you get that request to use the gift card, remember what we're saying here, that if you are asked to pay by a gift card, you're dealing with a scammer.
Yeah, so the gift card is a number one. That's your number one red flag. And the pronounced sense of urgency behind the request that's the icing on the cake?
Exactly. It's, you really have to get this done. We need to get this information back to me so that we can get it all taken care of. And you'll make everyone else happy, or you'll get the assignment done. And it's not always that you're going to be asked to get gift cards for other members of the staff. It could be for any number of reasons. But there is always going to be that request to pay by gift card. Turn over the numbers on the back of the card, either call them back or send a picture, and do it quickly so that we can get this all wrapped up.
Yeah. Okay. Once again, get your antenna up when you catch a combination of those two things, or all of it rolled into one. You know you're dealing with a scammer. What about self-employment scams?
As we all know, the unemployment rate is drastically high, and for the first time, over the past year, many people have decided that I haven't been able to find a job. I'm not going to get back maybe to my old job. I've always wanted to start a business, and excuse me, and then they do so. So scammers are realizing what we have here are enough of novice business owners. They're inexperienced, and that they are vulnerable to any number of scams. And excuse me. Scammers have begun doing rounds of different kinds of scams, business advertising, con tricks, extortion, things like the package delivery notifications from Amazon, or fake trademark notifications. They use these things. If you are a brand new business owner, you want to protect your brand by registering with the trademark, U.S. Patent and Trademark Office, you can do so. Scammers know this, so if you are wanting to trademark your brand, you get an email or you're contacted by a con man who says, we can help you with that. They will extort you. They will ask you to pay a fee up front for that, on top of the legal fees that you will already be facing, up to around $1,000.
Wow.
And that's just one of the scams that they do. Business advertising tricks, using high-pressure sales to do all kinds of different advertising. Things like put your logo and your company name on this calendar. Certainly, when restaurants are full again, those placemats that you see with the name of all these different organizations on it, they have been using those, even though restaurant visits are down. They still are using those. So they are looking for ways for you to want to advertise your company with someone that is supposedly legit when in fact they are not. So the warning here is that if you are new in business, like with all things, read the fine print. Make sure you know who you're dealing with. Don't act quickly. You need to be your first line of defense to protect yourself and your new company.
Yeah, and
save yourself some money.
Yeah, and before pulling the trigger on paying somebody for something that you shouldn't have to pay for, or they're not the people you should be paying for it, do your due diligence on this. As you mentioned, they'll turn up the screws, and you're going to want to do this quickly. You could lose this. Somebody else could get whatever it takes to entice you to move quickly. That's a warning sign that kind of runs throughout the scam world, isn't it?
It certainly is. For all scams, there is that sense of urgency, or in some cases, fear. But urgency is always a factor. The con men, the crooks, they need to get you to act quickly before you actually think, because they know that at some point you may start to question what you've done. And they want to make sure that they get their hands on your money before that happens.
That wild, yeah. You're already having a hardest enough time of your life with, trying to find yourself some employment, keep your business afloat and all that, and yet you still have sharks in the water.
Always. They're looking for vulnerabilities, and COVID-19 has presented many of those vulnerabilities.
And finally on our list, good news on robocalls, although you qualify this by saying sort of.
I have to say sort of, because you may not believe it, given how often your phone rings, but robocalls are down a great deal, in fact. 10% down. For instance, there were nearly 60 billion robocalls in 2020. That's down by 10%. That works out to about 200 calls per person over the past year. You are getting, like I have, I'm sitting here yesterday and my phone keeps ringing, spam likely, spam likely, spam likely.
Yep.
One day I just actually said, well, I'm going to find out how likely it is, and it was in fact likely. Take a stab at, if you would, who you think was calling.
Oh, the Better Business Bureau.
It was actually my personal cell phone.
Was it really?
Yeah.
Wow.
The call that I got was the vehicle warranty. The warranty on my car is expiring.
Dennis, we've been trying to reach you about your warranty.
Yes, indeed.
Yep.
That's the number 2 prevalent robocall that we are getting still. And number 1, you won't believe this, but it's a Social Security scam.
Really?
So, yeah, still, it's the number 1 and 2. Although there has been a decrease in scam calls, and the reason being for that, and I was somewhat surprised when I read this, that COVID-19 and the global quarantine and shutdowns caused there to be a decrease in the number of robocalls because the scammers themselves couldn't get to their call centers.
I never would have guessed that reason. I would have thought it was an enforcement thing, maybe widespread knowledge of some of their methods, and people are getting wise to it, but no, it's lockdowns.
It was lockdown. The shutdowns caused us to stay home, also caused them to stay home. So there is the upside of COVID-19.
Well, a phrase you have not heard very often over the past year, but nonetheless, that's an accurate way of putting that.
That's it. It was a surprising number, and although when I said the good news was that the calls are down. The bad news is as the lockdown has been lifted and a lot of the things that we haven't been able to do, when our freedoms are returned to us gradually here, you can expect that those robocalls for those folks who haven't been able to get into their scam phones, they're going to increase again.
Outstanding. Well, it's good to see everybody getting back to work.
Yes, it is.
Well, yeah, get these restrictions lifted. Everybody goes back to work, the legit and the non-legit, all at the same time. So, yeah, they're down, but enjoy it for now. They probably will come roaring back. There's some time to be made up.
Exactly. I mean, those robocalls produce. You get billions of calls, and they're making millions of dollars robo-dialing. With all the scams that are out there. And, we talked about many of those scams, computer security, advanced fee loans, even religious scams. Actually, religious scams are number 4 on the list that I have here.
Wow.
So they are, all those things are going to continue. And we most likely will see, you and I will be talking about an uptick in certainly by the end of summer.
Outstanding. All right. Well, there's a lot of stuff for you guys to ponder here. Now, for anybody who is listening and goes, I have a particular question or I had an experience that maybe the BBB would like to know about, how do they make contact with you?
You can give us a call at 815-963-2222. We'd be happy to talk with you, especially if you want to report to us a scam that is taking place or you are a victim or a near victim of, because that information we put into Scam Tracker, and we provide that information to law enforcement weekly. So it helps us fight the crime as well.
Twice a month, Dennis comes on here and throws a lifeline out to consumers, and we are very, very grateful for it. Dennis, we appreciate your time. We'll look forward to our next get-together.
Thank you, Ryder. You have a great week.
You too. There's Dennis Horton. He's director of the Rockford Regional Office of the Better Business Bureau.